so sweet, but she's not too terribly behind. I was like, she was in the 2nd grade, and I was like, well, what the heck does not too terribly behind mean? That's an oxymoron. We're not doing that. My kids are not going to be behind. What are you talking about? And so I took her to Dr. Weinberg, who did an eye test on her, and realized that what she was seeing was not processing to the brain. So once they did eye therapy on her for like 6 to 9 months, my baby became a straight A student. Then come my last one, which is Karla. Karla is my special needs baby, as everybody know, who in the office, she's like the greeter. Hey, welcome to Jarvis Family Medical Services. But she has cerebral palsy. So again, here I am with a special needs child in JCPS. If it wasn't for people like you and her therapists, like speech therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists over at Easter Seals, or now Cardinal Hill, I wouldn't have known the power as a parent that I had to articulate things that I need to articulate that was best for my child. So because I'm an old believer in closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't ask questions, you don't know, what's going to happen to that child. You are that child's advocate.
Oh, yes.
So we was talking about some things of misunderstanding.
Yes.
So you was telling me the story about with CPS, a lot of times you're called in because of why?
Most likely it's a misunderstanding. A lot of kids are a product of their environment.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come to school dirty or too small shoes on, or it looks like they were not bathed the night before.
Unkept.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times they are called for CPS for neglect. And
what?
Yes.
Why? Do the kids have bruises on them?
No.
Does the kids say that they was abused?
No.
And so somebody just took it upon themselves to call CPS and say that these kids are being abused.
Neglected. Yes.
Oh, Lord
yes.
Jesus.
Well, Kentucky has turned into a mandated reporter state. So
mandated for when you know that the person
exactly.
has abuse.
But I think that has made people scared to, like, I'm just going to report everything just to make sure that I don't get in trouble just in case something is going on.
That's a coward way to think of it.
That is. So a lot of times we get kids that are not being abused or neglected. It's just that the parents do not know. And common sense is not common for everybody.
Right.
Some things that they were not taught when they were growing up of basic hygiene.
Okay.
For a child. Just making sure that you at least hit the hot spots.
Right.
If they don't take a bath, at least make sure that their underarms, their privates, and behind the ears are clean and that their face is clean.
Yes.
That's not really common. You would think that you would know that.
Yeah. And
a lot of parents,
they don't get it.
They don't get it.
It's a disconnect
It is.
in the generations between my generation of me being 46 and how I raised my children, and I would say the ones been a little bit younger than I am and how they raised their children.
Yes.
It's a disconnect going on.
Most definitely.
And so we have to first educate our parents.
That is it. And the staff also.
Yes.
Because sometimes children just need that extra care.
Right. But I would say let's break it down. So when we're talking to the parents, my mother was the type that would be like, you know what? You had your church clothes and you had your school clothes, and then you had your play clothes. The play clothes was what you wore that was raggedy, maybe had holes in it, maybe too little. You wore them outside to play. You did not mix up the three. Your school clothes and your church clothes was always ironed and pressed and hanging up and looking good, because Mama used to always say, when you go out, first impression is everything. Yes. So if you go out looking this way, looking unkept to certain people, they're going to think that you're ignorant. They're going to think that something is wrong with you. They're going to, assume things about you that's not correct. So that's in teaching the parents.
Yes.
Now the staff, to me, have gotten lazy. Let's just keep it real. They want to assume everybody in one thing. People are too afraid to talk to people, ask questions. Hey, is it something that you need? This is the resources. If I'm a parent and I don't have any money for clothes, what do I need to say when I come to the school? Do they have resources?
Yes, they have a Frisky that has uniforms, and they do uniform drives also.
What's a Frisky?
Family Resource Center. So it's like I like to say it's an in-house social worker.
Okay.
And they work with the community, but they can also give the child uniforms.
Okay.
If needed, or they can give them parent, vouchers for uniforms or outside of the city.
Okay.
And they usually do uniform drives the beginning of the school year.
Okay.
Where you can bring in your old uniforms and get new uniforms.
Right, because then you're helping somebody else because maybe your child is growing bigger.
Exactly.
And again, keeping them nice and pressed and clean.
Yes.
Then that way you can then pass them down to the next child who needs them.
Exactly.
All right, so they got what is it called again?
A frisky.
A frisky.
Yes.
Well, that's a whole other term.
And then they have school social workers, but the thing with school social workers is they usually have more than one school.
Okay.
So that's where we are running the issue with, is that a lot of our social services are being stretched thin.
So do they still have the PTA? Because all my kids are graduating out of school.
Yes, they still have the PTA, but a lot of PTA is like fundraising for stuff what the school needs, not necessarily.
But that's not right.
To tailor.
But maybe if they went, maybe some of those parents need to be on the PTA.
I agree.
And then that way they can then say, okay, I know I have a difficult time with obtaining school uniforms. This is what we need to do for our students.
Yes.
Or if, like a lot of schools do the backpack with the food in it for the weekend.
Yes.
Because we know that a lot of times the kids only eat at school, breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
They may not get dinner. So a lot of these schools are doing like the backpack thing where they send them home on the weekend with food.
Yes.
But you have to go in there. It's a pride is a sin.
That's one thing I was going to say is do not be, to the parents, do not be embarrassed that you need help. That, I think what I see is parents are embarrassed. Like they do not have it, and so they keep their mouth shut. But the kids are suffering.
Right.
And you may get judgment from the teacher, you may get judgment from the principal, but at the end of the day, it's for the baby.
And it does not matter if they judge you.
Who cares what they think?
Right.
To me, and who cares if
and you can tell them about the Lord anyway, because they're not supposed to judge anyway. Let's just keep it real.
Exactly. But who cares? Do not be embarrassed. If you need help, there are people to help you. You will come across somebody that cares. Trust me. And somebody that's going to go the extra mile. But you have to say something.
Okay. I like that. So then the next step is, do you all go into the school and talk to the parents and the frisky people to say, okay, don't assume that this child is abused if they are unkept?
Well, see, not all. I would love to say that all workers do that. But see, I have a passion for
just people. Like in healthcare.
I have a passion for people. So I always go the extra mile. So whenever I do my investigations, I like to talk to my parents like, I'm your social worker, but I'm your home girl. I want you to feel comfortable to telling me, like, do you need anything? Because I can point you to resources that will help you. Or if you need me to, talk to the teacher, I can talk to my supervisor and we can maybe do some ongoing services.
Same thing I do in my practice. Right. You meeting them where they are. You're not talking above them. You're not talking at them and making them feel bad.
Yes.
You're saying, hey, I'm going to be whatever you need me to be to help you and your family.
It is no judgment. I am, honestly, I'm here for the babies. I do not want the babies to be outside with no coat on. And it's cold outside. Just because you're afraid to say something that you need something. Like, let's say something.
Because the thing, too, is if the baby is hungry.
Yes.
Or if the baby does not have the appropriate clothes, or the shoes are too tight, or the clothes are too tight, how do you expect them to learn? How do you expect them to sit there for 6 hours? Don't move, be still, just do this, just do that. We don't have art, we don't have music, we don't have recess, we don't have this. And the kids want to just sit there. No wonder they like, I'm going crazy, what is going on? I mean, we have to prepare them for each and every day that they go out into this world.
Even dental. Think about it. If
Girl.
You have a cavity in your mouth, grown-ups.
Ooh, honey, you
have
just
teeth
take your head off your shoulder.
Just think as an adult, you have teeth pain. Like, you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to go home. I'm not dealing with this. A coworker say one thing to me, I'm going, oh.
Right.
So think as a kid who cannot process their emotions like adults, they are like crazy. Like, they go crazy. And it could be something small as they didn't go to the dentist.
Which they should be doing every 6 months.
They should be going.
But we know that doesn't happen. And it's funny that you say that, because a dentist just came to my office the other day, and I didn't know this, that they have like a group of dentists that donate their time, and they do once a month, and they do all procedures that need to be done. So I asked her, can she get me a copy of their schedule so that I can then run it on our website, I can run it on our social media, so then people can know that, take the kids over there, because unfortunately a lot of the insurances like Medicaid are cutting back.
Yes.
So a lot of your healthcare providers that want to help you, they can't afford that because they gotta pay the rent, they gotta pay their staff, they gotta pay the insurance, they gotta buy supplies. It's very expensive to run a practice. Anybody I know will tell you, dentist, psych, primary care, everything. So the dentist told me that it's kind of hard for her to not accept that insurance, but what she wants to do is donate her time every month to this special clinic. So I'm like, oh, well, give me the name and number and the days that that you are going to be there, so we can get the word out, because that is very important.
Very dental. I would say yes. These kids are, like you said, it could be something very small that's going on with the child, not necessarily a behavior problem, but you need people that care.
So if I'm a parent that's really needing help right now, tomorrow is what, Monday, December 16th, and I need help, who do I call? What's the first phone number should I call?
I would call the Child's Frisky. So that's the family resource, and every school has one.
Okay.
I will call them and see whatever the needs for the child is, what they can get right away. So if it's uniforms, let's look at the closet and see if there is any uniforms or whatsoever that the child needs. Or is it services as far as behavioral, they need therapy in school, they can help you with that. If it is more so you think that there is abuse in the home that's not necessarily, like maybe your partner is abusing the child and you're afraid to intervene, we have a CPS hotline. I left my thing, I left my card in the
That's code. Okay, we'll get back to you all. We'll put it on our website.
We will. That you can call, and it's anonymous.
Okay.
So if you are afraid and you are living with somebody that is abusing, because everybody likes to think that why don't you just leave?
They can't.
And then you can't.
Sometimes they just can't.
Call the hotline and we will investigate it.
Right.
So it depends on what your needs are.
Okay.
But if I were you, I would do the frisky. If it's something that you can do within the school, because they will have direct access to the child right there.
So then the next step will be to pretty much talk to the teacher.
Yes.
They should be a team for the child. Now, we know that you got some teachers out there, and I love all my teachers that are stretched beyond stretch.
Yes.
And sometimes when they're stretched, sometimes that woo-woo-woo doesn't come out. Doesn't mean that they don't care about your child. It just means that they may not have any more capacity to be stretched so thin. Right. So we have to stop coming in there being like, well, if you're not for me, you're against me.
Yes.
And we're going to argue and we're going to do this and you're wrong. No, you don't have to be adults for the child. You cannot come into this school and assume your child is just the only one. Yes. The only one that needs help, because believe me, everybody needs help.
Yes.
That your child does not lie. Lord knows I have 3, honey. So I know that's a lie right there. And that your child did not have a behavior. That's another one. Because you know your kid, how they acting at home, a lot of times it's how they acting out in the street. So we have to sometimes also look at ourselves and say, okay, what can I do? Just if your child only got one uniform, as long as your uniform is, you can clean it and press it and iron it. You tell your child they beautiful every day.
Yes.
That the clothes does not make them. They make them, making better choices, knowing that when you do turn to the left, it's going to be consequences to that. And then when they turn to the right, it's going to be consequences. That's how life is. But to have this, well, it's me, I'm a victim. Nobody wants to help a victim. People want to help you when you want to help yourself. But if you want to blame everybody for your mishap, it's not going to happen.
Right.
The world is not going to be there.
Especially at a school where they have like 500 students.
Right. And the teachers got like 34 kids in the room when they're supposed to have 24.
Yes.
So they, if they see that you're working hard, and a lot of these teachers go out and they buy supplies and everything out of their own pockets. If they know a kid is hungry, they'll buy food for that child. If they know the kid needs a coat, I have plenty of patients that are teachers that go out and spend their money and they're not rich.
Yes.
It's a thing called about budgeting. You do have to budget your money. You can't be the flyest mother on the block and then the kids is missing something. You have to budget. Sometimes it means driving a bucket. Sometimes it means getting a phone from Walmart, the flip phone. You stop keeping up with the Joneses. Get off of Facebook and Instagram thinking you got to be more than what you are. Because what's important is seeing that sowing that seed into your child.
Exactly. Tell them that they're beautiful
every day, and that they can do it.
Yes.
My kids, they honey, Lord Jesus, that's a whole nother section. But the one thing they do know is I'll help them if they're trying to help themselves.
Yes.